Hello, my name is Hunter and I am going out into the woods to survive today. My recent motto and thought has been, instead of sitting on the couch and watching YouTube videos like this and different things, I'm going to get out there and do it. And so I encourage you to do the same, and I'll probably say a few more things about that at the end of this video. But kind of my motto has kind of changed lately to be, don't just exist, get out there and survive. And I know that's kind of a play on words because being a survivalist, being an outdoors person, stuff like that. But really that's kind of my motto in life now that I'm kind of adapting for myself, or one of them. And so I'm getting out here, I'm going to take a hike, I'm going to try to start a fire, boil some water, stuff like that. I've never done that before. Well, I've boiled water before, but not with just a metal pot and start a fire. I've always used a little camp stove or something like that. So it's going to be my first experience. And also the woods are very wet today. There was a major storm the last couple days, and so everything's muddy and wet and stuff like that. But it's dry right now as far as not raining. So I figured it'd be a good time to go out there, test my survival skills. I'm going to test a few different things, try a few different things, maybe point out a few lessons along the way, and you're welcome to come along. All right, came to what looks like a four-wheeler trail and kind of a creek crossing. As you can see here, this is my boot in the mud, and while I can see the bottom, really, you can see how far I sink into it right here. I'm probably sinking a good 3 or 4 inches into it. So that's kind of a note that even though you can see the bottom, because this is a four-wheeler trail, there's deeper ruts and the dirt has been kind of loosened, so you can sink several inches into the mud. And I was using this stick and my walking stick, kind of lighten it, so to speak. But now that I'm at the end here, I'll show you something else you can do. Is throw a decent sized log across the wood, and then what it does, kind of like a snowshoe or something, you just put your foot on that and come out, and you don't sink as deep. Don't get too close to the edge because it could slide off and cave in, and you don't want to land down there. I hope I caught that on video. I walked up to this, there's a squirrel right there, and it just jumped from there to there. That tells you how far the little boys can jump. Okay, so here I have dug a small, couple inches deep trough, and I have put my bigger sticks on the bottom, some smaller sticks on this end. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to take these sticks, these top sticks off, because that's going to be my fire stove. Or I'm going to put my cup on that and boil some water. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to do kind of a upside down fire on this end, and let it get going real good. And when it starts to burn down to little coals, then what I'll do is I'll put these sticks back, replace those, and put my pot on that, and then kind of feed the fire from this angle, and see how that works for me. So let's give it a whirl and see what happens. Okay, I have my Bear Grylls emergency blanket, as a side note, that I'm putting here as a barrier between myself and the wet ground, because it is extremely wet out here and somewhat muddy because it was torrential downpour yesterday. But also I'd like to mention before I start my fire that I am near water, so that if I need to put out the fire, I can do so. And I have my water bottle and stuff like that that I can use to put out the fire. And also I'll have my cup out as well if I need to, if it gets out of control. But I did push back the leaves and everything is soaked, so I'm really not that worried about it. And this is in a hole. So let me tell you about this right here. This is actually kind of the next level up, if you will, from cotton ball and Vaseline, in my opinion. What it is it's a cotton ball with half Vaseline, half olive oil. And I'm going to use a light my fire striker, and these are really good. These are Swedish or I believe it says. Light my fire steel. Yeah, I believe they are Swede or Swedish, something sweet in the name. So what I'm going to do is I made up a couple of these. You have to be careful. Olive oil can go rancid, so you don't want to keep in your pack, you know, forever. But I just made these like a day or so ago, and so I'm going to pull one out and I'm going to nestle it down in the fire, and then I've got some other twigs and stuff I'm going to put on top, and then once it gets going a little bit, if I need some bigger firewood, I've kind of collected some there to kind of stoke it. And I have, in case my bottom sticks are too dry for a fire pit, I've got these that are more green, and so they shouldn't burn as quickly, and I may smear a little mud over them or something like that to keep it from doing that. All right, like I said, I'm going to take one cotton Vaseline soaked ball. I'm going to try to expose some of the fibers here to make it easier for me to light, because with olive oil and Vaseline in it, one or the other, it is more challenging to hang on there, to light. So it may take a few more strikes here. Oh, there we go. Woo. Wanted to stick to me. So what I'm going to do is just let it get going here, try to position it a little deeper down in here now. And it will take just a little bit longer to take off than a regular cotton ball with Vaseline, and the reason for that is the oil has a higher burn or flame temperature point, or whatever you want to call it, and so it'll take just a little bit longer to get going there. But that should be it. And you saw that was pretty easy. And the thing is, with a regular cotton ball, just plain white fluffy cotton ball, you'll probably get if you're lucky 30 seconds out of it. But if you put one soaked in Vaseline, you'll get closer to anywhere from 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, depending on how much you put in there. And again, it may be a little harder to light, but once you get it lit, it'll last that long. Now, my experience with these cotton ball Vaseline with the olive oil is that they can last up to 10, 15 minutes, and which is really handy when there's a lot of wet stuff. Again, I tried to get as dry stuff as possible because I was trying to, it's going pretty good now, so try to add a little bit more here. I try to get as dry stuff as possible, but just the reality is that in this particular case, it's just almost impossible to get anything super dry out here. And it's smoking more than I wanted. So, and the reason it was smoking more is, again, it's wet, but not only that is I kind of piled too much on it before it took off. These upside down fires take a little bit longer to get going, but once they do, they typically burn a little longer. And I'm not an expert woodsman, I'll just say that, and use your own skills and what you see for more professional people. But this is just kind of how I'm doing it. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back once I've kind of got a little bit more going on here. And as a side note to all you super survival backpackers, outdoors woodman people, no, I didn't start with just super small stuff. And part of the reason for that is because I'm trying to test the power of these cotton ball Vaseline with the olive oil and see if it'll stay burning long enough to kind of light bigger stuff even when wet. So it's kind of a good test in my opinion, and I should have probably mentioned that on the beginning, but the oil is starting to take, and now some of the twigs are taking off pretty good. You can hear the sizzling of the water kind of, and the moisture being kind of burned out of it. And once this gets going here in just a minute, it's going to be pretty roaring little fire here. So all right, we're just about a couple minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes into the fire. From all my talking stuff, it wouldn't take this long normally. But starting to take off a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay guys, as you can see, the fire, upside down fire, which it was my first time to try that in a hole, didn't really work out. So I'm going to kind of reposition everything and try again. And that's part of being in survival and like me learning how to do it, is it doesn't matter how many YouTube videos you watch, sometimes it doesn't work out. You have to learn to adapt and kind of change things. And probably the reason it went out is because I was over there digging in my bag instead of stoking the fire, and I thought it had taken off. And so that's another lesson to learn, and I've learned this before, I just obviously had forgotten, is that even though it has a flame doesn't mean that it's going to carry and continue on. So you have to reach a point of stability in the fire before you can kind of quit tending it. And so just thought I'd add that in as a side note. Alright, going for round 2 of the fire starter. This time I'm actually using 2 cotton balls, and I've kind of pulled everything back and I'm kind of trying a different approach and strategy here. Only took 2 strikes that time with the... I'm going to actually let the cotton ball Vaseline olive oil take off a little bit. I think I kind of smothered it out too soon before, so I'm going to let both of those get going really good before I start adding things. And I'm going to try to add some of the smaller stuff. I was trying to see if I could do it with bigger stuff, but I guess the time proven start with your smallest kindling and then kind of work up from there still holds true. So I'm going to start with some smaller stuff, as you can see, just like really small stuff here, just to kind of get the blaze going a little bit more. And it's already kind of warm because of the other previous fire, so the coals and stuff should be going pretty good. Just kind of add stuff in slowly here and add to it as we go, and we'll see if we get a little better luck. So I'll come back in a few minutes and see kind of where we're at. Alright, so fire's going a lot better now. It seems smaller, but it actually has a lot of coals and a lot of good fire or wood that's caught on fire. And so I think this is going to be a little bit more sustainable. And I ended up making kind of a teepee. And then as I got near the end of my teepee, what I did is I kind of put those logs that were kind of standing up, they kind of fell down. So I kind of made like a triangle or kind of a box square, or I don't know how you describe it, where they kind of fall down and kind of make more of a square in the middle of the bigger logs. So that's where I'm going to set my pot, is right there on top of those big logs. And we'll see if this will be enough to boil water. Alright, and I'm just going to position that right there. And as a side note, I found my spork that is also like my fire, and on the side it says made in Sweden. So I am pretty certain that this stuff is made in Sweden. So just, I knew I'd seen it somewhere, so kind of wanted to clarify that. Okay, this is the top view. I've just set my water pot on there. I will mention my tripod here. Some may be wondering how I'm getting these great shots, as they are completely smooth and not shaky. I'm not sure if you laughed or not with me, but this is my all-natural, biodegradable, green, very earth-friendly tripod. It consists of this arched mechanism here, and it can be procured at almost any woods in your area. And then also have this supporting little stick here with a little hook, and then I just kind of set it in the notch of each one, and there it is. And so that's kind of how I do that, just in case you were wondering. And I don't sell these. I don't get any kind of affiliate link or credit or commission or anything for selling these. This is purely free, and like I said, you can pick them up at almost any woods near you, and or even your backyard sometimes. So definitely check that out. Okay, starting to get some bubbles in my water here. I haven't really stoked my fire, and I haven't really been blowing on it because I don't want all the ashes and stuff to really blow up and get in my water. And it's starting to boil. I see steam and some bubbles are popping up. So I'll have to research again and see how long you're supposed to boil water for it to be safe. I know mine's safe because it came out of my refrigerator at home. But I'll probably let it boil for a couple minutes, and then I'll probably set it off. And I don't like my oatmeal scorching, so I'll probably let it cool for just a minute. Or I may just go ahead and just stick this off in there once it gets boiling to where I feel like it's pretty safe, and stir it around with my little spoon, fork, knife thing, and we'll see how it tastes. Okay guys, I'm back. That did not take very long. I mean, it's at a rolling boil, and as you can see, it's not that there's a lot of flame. There's just a little flame on this one stick here, but really what it is it's those coals and the heat underneath it, and that's what takes a while to really get going, and that's what you want. I'm gonna put my camera back on my Outdoorsman 3.0 tripod. Remember, it's fully organic and non-GMO, and I'm sorry for the humor here. But anyway, I'm gonna put that on my tripod and adjust, and I'm gonna open up these Quaker instant oats, cinnamon and spice. I prefer brown sugar and cinnamon, but this is all I could find at the house. I think it's my last packet, so I'll have to pick up some more of that. So, there you go. Alright, so oatmeal's coming along good, and see, that was a perfect amount of water for that. Didn't even measure it, just used survival instinct there. And so, kind of stir that up, and I'm going to let it sit there, and then I'm going to eat that. Cooked in the wild. Gonna just kind of savor the moment of glory here. First time I pulled water on a pot in the wild and made oatmeal. Pretty excited. It looks pretty good. I will make a note. I kind of left it on there a little too long with my rambling, as I'm likely to do. And so the bottom is a little stuck, not just scorched, but probably next time I'm going to bring a cleaning pad, like just like a little Scotch-Brite. Well, I don't know if Scotch-Brite's the right thing, but like a little sponge, a little rough side on it, stuff like that, to clean it. Because I could go down there. Now, if there was a gravel bed or something, I could take like a little bit of fine gravel and clean the inside of my pot. But that's kind of like mud. That's why I wore my big boots today. And so yeah, that's kind of another lesson to learn for a while. And it's still steaming pretty good. That tells you kind of how cold it is out here. It's 39, 40, maybe 45 degrees. Definitely no more than 45. And quite comfortable up against the fire, because I'm kind of sitting here in this reflective Bear Grylls blanket is kind of keeping the thermal energy from my body from going into the dirt, because it's kind of cold and damp and wet. And the fire just kind of adds, with those coals, is still plenty warm. So I mean, it's adding some heat, and I get a little bit of sunshine now. The sun's coming up, or it's been up, but it's not very high. It's about 8. Whoa! Almost dumped my oatmeal. It's a good thing it's 8:55. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking and eat my oatmeal. That's good. Alright guys, oatmeal is gone. So now I'm about ready to head out. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. I have a client meeting to get to. And just as a side note, don't go when it's this slippery and wet. I'm just gonna kind of do that there. Yeah, I have a client meeting at 11 to get to, and I've got to be a super professional web designer and marketing professional and all of that. So I'm kind of savoring the last few moments of manhood, so to speak, and boyish pleasures of this before I have to go back to the real world. You know, this will probably make some smoke, but that's okay, or steam. And that's most of it. What I'll probably do is I'll get 1 or 2 more of these, kind of take out the pieces there on top that didn't burn, those were kind of just the extraneous things on the side. I just kind of put them on in the middle. I'll move those out, scatter everything, put the dirt back over it, pack up my stuff, and put it in my backpack, put on my little hat, and head out of the woods. Alright guys, as you can see, I've refilled in the hole, poured water over it, and cleaned up my mess, so to speak. Kind of spread everything around, dispersed the firewood that I brought in and that I kind of collected, and everything, and put everything back to normal. And that's kind of how you want to leave it. And if someone just kind of happened on here, later today, they may or may not realize what kind of happened here, unless they saw my video. I'd also like to make a note that I was going down to the water to, rinse out my cup and everything, and it dawned on me that that packet for the oatmeal that I had used would, because it's kind of tougher than paper, it might actually scrub the pot, and I did that and it worked out actually really well. So I'll probably still get a scrubby brush or like a scrubber pad, but what I'll do is or the comment I wanted to make rather was, that's part of survival, that's part of being out in the woods, is adapting, overcoming, and just using what's available. And so I mean, that's really kind of what this is all about, and this is what it's about for me. Is it's testing my skills, it's kind of putting me out there. I'm trying different things, I'm testing different things. I see YouTube videos, I see different things, but I want to experience it for myself, and I highly encourage you, if at all possible. There's no feeling and there's no experience, if you will, of going out there other than just going out there and doing it yourself. I mean, there's nothing that can compare to that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so get out there. And I was the guy, and no offense to anybody out there, I was the guy who sat on the couch and watched all the videos and bought all the equipment, but really didn't do that much. And I'm not really sure why. I enjoyed it, I liked it, and every now and then I'd go, or if I went with a buddy or something like that. But I found a place fairly close to my house, within relative driving distance, and so I've just started going out and just doing stuff like this. And this is only my second or third trip, and I learned a lot of things today. I made a lot of mishaps, a lot of different stuff, but you know what, I learned through the process. And I highly encourage you to do that yourself, because it tests yourself, it builds your own self-esteem. Now I feel like if I'm ever put in this kind of situation, I'm much more comfortable with how the outcome could be, because I've done it. And so I recommend that, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to, because I'll probably be doing more of these videos. If you need anything else or have any suggestions, comments, you say, hey, look, it'd be much better if you did it this way, I'm very open to suggestions or anything like that, because like I said, I'm new to all this too. So thank you so much, and I look forward to doing more videos, and then also your comments. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.